Yeah, just imagine the conspiracies if they didn't make it.
Yeah. Well, Pete, there's already people saying that they faked it, which I think is silly.
Well, it was very profound. I don't know if you've seen Katy Perry talk about it, but she's basically a guru now.
Yeah. What were her findings? That's my question.
Well,
what did she learn?
Daisy, which is super important.
Let's see how planetary expert Katy Perry prepared for this mission.
I'm really excited about the engineering of it all. I'm excited to learn more about STEM and just the math about what it takes to accomplish this type of thing.
It shows you how quick the flight was. The dead Daisy that's like snipped from its life source was still alive or still vibrant.
I would love to hear her actually explain what the acronym STEM stands for. And then Katy Perry continued her tour of obliviousness while exiting the capsule and acting like she was part of that crew that was stranded in space for months.
Katy!
You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love. So connected to love. I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give, and how loved you are until the day you launch.
She kissed the ground and she liked it.
Let's celebrate female astronauts.
And because they were
did it.
united.
Because a lot of men astronauts, they have to go to school.
Right.
They have to learn how to be a pilot first.
They say space is the final frontier, but who knew it would also become the final stage for a perfectly rehearsed influencer moment? Buckle up, because this isn't your average NASA mission. This is about pop megastar Katy Perry morning show, royalty Gayle King, and a 10-minute joyride to the edge of Earth that has somehow been spun into a transcendent, soul-healing journey for womankind. Or, at least, that's how they're framing it. The real story? A trip that's been mocked by everyone from internet commentators to podcast Joe Rogan himself, and roasted so thoroughly online that it might actually be orbiting the sun right now. Now, if you missed the headlines, and honestly, we envy you. Katy Perry and Gayle King recently boarded a Blue Origin spaceflight for what was pitched as an all-female mission celebrating empowerment, exploration, and, naturally, curated Instagram-worthy moments. The trip lasted all of 11 minutes. 11. That's not even enough time to microwave a frozen lasagna, let alone claim a cosmic awakening. But according to them, it was life-changing. And if you don't believe that, well, maybe you're just not evolved enough yet. The whole thing kicked off with a dramatic liftoff that had the tone of a perfume commercial meets a TED Talk. As the capsule returned safely to Earth, no surprises. There, thankfully, Katy Perry exited the spacecraft and proceeded to kneel down, kiss the ground, and offer what can only be described as a hyper-staged, Oscar-worthy performance of gratitude. Online, the moment was instantly clipped, memed, and reposted with captions like, "When your Uber finally drops you off after a long night," and "Me leaving a work Zoom call in 2020. Safe to say, subtlety was not on the itinerary. And then came the interviews. In a post-flight press moment, Katy described the experience as profound, claiming she felt more connected to love, to goodness, to the universe itself.
Katy. No, you're not the crier of the group.
Healer of the group.
No, you are not.
I'm crying.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love. So connected to love. I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give, and how loved you are until the day you launch.
Even Oprah, who's known for her emotional depth and empathy, reportedly teared up watching the flight. To be fair, we might cry too if we had to pretend a multimillionaire floating in zero gravity for 10 minutes was the pinnacle of human achievement. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan wasn't having it. On his podcast, he laid into the whole event with the precision of a stand-up comic and the weariness of someone who's watched too many influencer apologies. He likened the trip to a glorified amusement park ride and questioned why anyone would treat it as a spiritual milestone. At one point, he joked that if he were floating through space and heard Katy Perry start singing, he'd find a way to eject himself into the void. Harsh? Maybe? Funny? Absolutely. And judging by the flood of comments on social media, he wasn't alone in his opinion. But it wasn't just Rogan. The broader media response has been split between bemused disbelief and quiet embarrassment. On one side, you have morning show hosts and legacy outlets hailing the flight as a bold move for representation. On the other hand, a growing number of voices calling out the superficiality of it all. It's hard to ignore the irony of celebrities, preaching empowerment from a seat that costs more than the average home. And that was secured thanks to their personal relationships with tech billionaires. One tweet said it best: "It's not that we don't want to support women in space. We just didn't expect the first step to be taken in designer boots and a full face of glam." And let's talk about that messaging. Take up space. That was the campaign slogan. Empowering on the surface? Sure. But when you consider the context, wealthy, already influential women literally taking up space with zero training or scientific background, it starts to feel less like a rallying cry and more like an accidental metaphor for the current state of celebrity culture. The point wasn't to advance science, break barriers, or conduct research. It was to show that even in zero gravity, clothes still float. Chapo, wildest part, they really expected people to be inspired. In a follow-up interview, Katy Perry shared that women and girls had reached out to her, saying they didn't know space was an option for them until they saw her do it. Which would be touching, if it weren't so incredibly disconnected from reality. The average woman doesn't get a call from Jeff Bezos with a +1 invite to the stratosphere. No shade, but let's not pretend this was some kind of grassroots movement. It was a highly produced spectacle with the subtlety of a Super Bowl. And still, in the age of curated vulnerability and glamorized self-discovery, it kind of tracks. We've reached a point where doing it for the gram has extended to outer space. Because why settle for a wellness retreat in Tulum when you can have a cosmic reawakening in low Earth orbit? Add a few slow-mo shots, an acoustic track, and a matching capsule outfit, and boom, transcendence brought to you by Blue Origin. Naturally, the internet did what it does best: roast. Memes exploded across every platform, from side-by-sides comparing the trip to amusement park rides to threads mocking the hyper-dramatic post-flight commentary. One viral post featured a screenshot of Katy Perry saying, "I'll never be the same," next to a timestamp proving she was only gone for 651 seconds. Another post joked that the only thing Katy Perry discovered in space was a new TikTok trend. But perhaps the real takeaway here is how quickly public opinion can turn. What began as a PR opportunity meant to showcase empowerment and progress became a masterclass in unintentional satire. The trip was meant to be inspiring, but it ended up highlighting how far removed celebrity life has become from the rest of the world. When you need a private spaceship to feel something real, it might be time to log off and touch some actual grass. And yet, there's a strange charm to it all. Watching icons like Katy Perry try to position themselves as pioneers while being gently roasted by the very people they're trying to inspire is peak modern media. It's aspirational, ridiculous, and a little bit dystopian. But it's also the kind of content that keeps us talking, tweeting, and clicking "Watch next." So, what do we take away from this star-studded space odyssey? Maybe it's that in 2025, space travel isn't about science anymore. It's about status. And maybe, just maybe, the next time a celebrity claims they found themselves floating in the stratosphere, we'll ask them to show their receipts. And not just the ones from Sephora. If nothing else, at least we learned this. Even in outer space, the Wi-Fi is probably still better than yours.